Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be Jashun.
Hey, how you doing?
He will be talking about brain injuries. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Great. Tell the audience a little bit about Jashun.
Well, like I said, my name is Jashun, and I had a brain injury when I was 21, and I had it was an aneurysm, and I was at ECU during my senior year. And having a brain injury is very, very life-changing. A lot of stuff has happened. When I had my brain injury, I was in a coma for 30 days. When I woke up, I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't see. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. I didn't really ever understand about what happened to me. When I was in my coma, I thought I was in a car accident. And so, I had to do so many therapies, like speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, like 3 sessions in a day. And it was just tough. It really was like really, really hard for me to grasp what was going on,
How did the doctors explain exactly your injuries to you?
Well, what my parents told me, because I wasn't able to really comprehend what was going on because I wasn't really at that point, but they were saying that it was an acquired brain injury. Now, acquired is different from traumatic brain injury. Traumatic brain injury is an injury that is caused by physical, pressure or a blow to the head, like a punch or a car accident. Acquired is more of a stroke or aneurysm. Mine is an aneurysm, and that is a birth defect. So I was born with it. It just sooner or later it was going to happen though. And it also runs in the family. Like 2 or 3 of my other cousins on my dad's side actually had aneurysms and passed away.
How do you, on a regular basis, deal with having a brain injury?
Well, it's pretty tough. It's very challenging, and I'm kind of glad it's kind of ironic because some of the things that opened up to me because of my injury is I wouldn't have been able to experience if it wasn't for this injury. My bad. Like I was a broadcasting major, at East Carolina. And so a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is in broadcasting. I'm working at WBT, and I did a lot of other video projects and stuff. And it's just because my brain injury brought me to it, And so it was but it was very, very challenging, especially when I went back to ECU. I liked it. It was a great life experience for me to really be on my own as far as having to understand like certain things is going to have to be a little bit different, like going to the cafeteria. I remember one time I was going to the cafeteria by myself and I didn't really understand how to really plan it out, and so I was going to the cafeteria. I put my cane down, and so I packed up this big takeout box, and then I got me some drink, and so then I got me a bag, and so then when I was about to leave, I'm like, okay, I got my cane, I got a bag, I got drink. How am I going to walk with this, Right. And so it was kind of like things like that. I had to learn how to really improvise a little bit. And I learned now that, okay, when I get a takeout box, don't get a drink, just get the takeout box, and then I can drink at home or in my apartment and stuff too. So, dealing with that. And I know as far as physically, I know I wasn't able physically to help out a lot with the other projects, but I was actually able to really help out with the brainstorming and coming up with ideas because I didn't have a lot of experience. When I had my injury at East Carolina, it was reel-to-reel editing. And when I returned back, it was Final Cut Pro editing. And that's totally different. And so it was kind of hard, like during that time period, a lot of my classmates didn't really want me to be in their group because I wasn't maybe as knowledgeable about things, or they thought I would kind of like, they would have to carry me because of, I wasn't able to really play a big part in the work, but you know, I overcame that, and I just came up with ideas, and like a lot of projects that I came up with, I was the producer. Right. And so that was a good thing too, because I kind of used my you know, just kind of used my strong points to my advantage. And I'm always a thinker and a brainstormer. I love coming up with ideas and concepts for stuff. Mm-hmm.
How do you handle individuals possibly treating you differently than someone else?
Well, I understand that I haven't really had a bad experience personally, because I think my surroundings, as far as my support system, is really good. But there has been a few situations where people sometimes forget that I am a brain injury. I do have an injury, and they just take advantage of it because they've been around me for so long, you know. And it's just sometimes you have to, you know, kind of put people, you know, remind people that, okay, you remember, I don't want to use it as a crutch, but I mean, the thing is, it is what it is. I can't change. It's up to you to change, because I'm trying to do as best as I can. But if you can't overcome, you know what I'm saying, it's just, you know, people do like that sometimes.
What would you say to the other individuals with brain injuries, how to deal with it? How do you best deal with that?
Well, I think first is to be surrounded by a lot of support, a lot of people with other brain injuries. Like, I'm part of a brain association, and sometimes we have to, you know, be in a setting where we can talk freely and have somebody that we have in common, that we can compare stories, so that we feel like nobody's looking down to us, that nobody's picking on us, or kind of like making little snide comments, you know. So it's kind of good to have that camaraderie, you know. Okay. Is that in equally, you know, it's kind of funny, you know. It's like, and we could pick on ourselves too, you know. Like, we'll be in the meetings and stuff, and we'll just like, you know, like as far as our memory goes and stuff too. So that's why we have, like, every meeting we have name tags and stuff like that on and stuff. It's just because some of the, like, some certain things, it's gonna, my short-term memory is really affected, like really bad. So I had to do things like, you know, put sticker notes up or everything, or just little tactics, you know. And even like when I was working at the radio station, when I was interning there, my job coach was there with me, and my boss at the radio station. And so they was like, well, how about this, you know, because I was having to run the audio board, and the board was like huge. Okay. And it was just so overwhelming to see all these little buttons and stuff like that. And so what they did was, he covered all the board that I don't have to use with a white piece of paper. Okay. And taped it. So every time I came in to work, there was pieces of paper that's covered all the board that I don't have to use. And so that may be a lot more comfortable, and you know, things like that. Another thing at the work, I was like, I couldn't focus because it was like other people talking, and so I was getting kind of confused, and my connection was getting jumbled. So I would wear headphones, so I can stay focused on the board, and I can also listen to the cues as the radio host, too. So, you know, just certain tactics like that. My whole life is tactics, you know, and repetition, and you know, repetition to keep on doing it again and again, and because a slight change would be kind of hard for me to really grasp, because then I'm trying to get confused with, okay, which one should I do? And then I may combine both steps into one, you know?
As you move on and day by day, and you see yourself growing, and you see yourself doing things that at one time you thought you would not be able to do, how grateful are you to, you know?
Yeah, actually, it's kind of ironic, because I was really, really mad at God. You know, I was really mad at God for my situation because of of where I am, and I was just like, why me, God? You know, I was doing good. I was on the dean's list. You know, was had so many hats on college and stuff, and it was just like everything was going good. But I think now, honestly, I'm blessed. I feel like I'm blessed because of all the windows and all the opportunities, and that maybe God used me as a vessel to talk to other people that in my life and to spread the word of, you know, about brain injury and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm really grateful. I mean, I'm really the opportunities and the stuff that I got a chance to experience just because of my injury is it's a grateful. I'm grateful. Hmm.
I hear in the near future you're going to start a TV show talking about brain injuries and a lot of different injuries. How excited are you at going into that?
Yeah, I'm really getting my wheels going and everything, and it's kind of funny because when I started classes at TV Access 21, I wanted to do it just to get back, just to be able to be more marketable. So if you know when I do get another job, I can have more um, responsibility or more tasks that I can say I have works with. But then I was like, wait a minute, I can, you know, maybe I could kind of use this as another vessel and talk about brain injury, especially working on other shows with other people. And so I've just kind of been kind of excited about that. Yeah. Hmm.
That's a, I applaud you, for all that you're doing and that attitude, that confidence that you bring to the table. I applaud you and just continue to do what you're doing, sir. Trust and believing in God, and there's doors going to open up for you.
Hmm.
And you're doing an awesome job as a spokesperson for individuals having brain injuries, showing them that they can also come back and do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, because it took a while now. Because I was really like selfish. My self esteem was like so low, and everything. I would go out, I would like wear a undershirt backwards so it would cover up my trait scar.
Okay.
I would if I was out somewhere in a club or out in somewhere, I would hide my cane so nobody would see that I had a cane, or I wouldn't talk because I kind of stuttered sometimes too. So it's a growing period. I had to grow. I had to grow into myself. I had to really, you know, get behind that. Okay, I have a TBI, and don't look at it as a crutch. Look at it as a victory. I overcame something. A lot of people pass away or die. And I just overcame. Just to see how I came in these years was crazy.
I know that you go around and you speak to different groups, and how does that inspire you?
I like it because it keeps me going. I mean, it's almost like a therapy for me. When I go and speak at like conferences or medical conferences or workshops and stuff, I kind of like it because it's almost cool because I'm over here educating like healthcare positions, and I'm giving them, this is their field, but I'm still teaching them more stuff, that kind of give me a little boost of confidence too. So it's all good, and just to see how people are so interested and so inviting as far as as far as this issue going on. I just wish there was more empathy in the world as far as when this injury comes around, and stuff. Because it got such a bad connotation to it. Just because they're injury don't mean that they can't do this. You may have to do a lot of things a lot differently, as far as just different ways, different tactics. But if there's a will, there's a way. I think we as TBI survivors, we are like the most ingenious people because we had to basically learn how to change up our patterns that we knew and totally flip it. Just kind of be ingenious. Like on my car, I don't have automatic locks, And so if I have to unlock the passenger side, I would use my cane
Okay.
and push the, and that's
Okay.
like my automatic lock. You know, I go over there and kind of, you know, do that. So you just gotta really think outside the box. Hmm.
Where do you see Jason 5 years from now?
I see myself definitely in my own place, in my own apartment, and hopefully I'll still will be dealing, you know, with the radio station or maybe even out, maybe a television station now, and still doing this where I went to school and which my passion is, you know, broadcasting.
How do your family feel about where you're at right now?
I think they're really proud. I think they're really proud, and it's kind of. I think that it's gonna take a little bit. I know, because I think my mom, you know, she's not that hyped about me trying to move, but I think that's a part of life, you know, as far as the next stage, and you know, it's the next level, and I think that's like my last little bit before I can feel like, you know, it's every, you know, like complete, you know.
Okay. I know you stated earlier that your father has it with as far as hereditary, as far as this
Hmm.
aneurysm. And how do your family members feel? Is that like a big issue, knowing that maybe I might be another?
Well, actually, it's not, but I think like I didn't really know until like years after mine, and that's when I would find out like my great aunt and my great uncle and my cousin, that's about 5 years over than me, had an aneurysm. But I think his is more directed towards weight issues. But the thing is, it's still a genetic, the genetic and the disorder is still the you know, still in there. It's kind of hard. You just can't, because the summer before